If you've ever wondered why traditional rewards no longer inspire people or yourself the way they used to, Drive reveals the surprising science of what truly motivates us in the modern world, and how tapping into purpose, autonomy, and mastery can unlock extraordinary performance and fulfillment. We'll cover the whole book in just a few minutes. Chapter 1. The Rise and Fall of Motivation. 2.0. Imagine you're sitting at your desk scrolling through Wikipedia, reading about a subject that fascinates you. You dive deep, following links, exploring various topics, and just like that, you've spent hours engrossed in learning, completely free of charge, and without a single external reward incentivizing you. Now, let's compare that to the past, where dictionaries and encyclopedias like Microsoft's Encarta reigned supreme. Conventional wisdom held that external rewards, like money or accolades, were the driving forces behind success. So, what happened? Why did Wikipedia outshine Encarta? This is where we begin to unravel the intricacies of Motivation 2.0, which hinges on a world of rewards and punishments. As we dig deeper, a significant oversight starts to materialize. This framework simply doesn't capture the essence of what truly motivates us. The success of Wikipedia challenges everything we thought we knew about motivation in business. The truth is, people are increasingly driven by intrinsic reasons, the sheer joy of learning, the satisfaction of contributing to something larger than themselves, that traditional models fail to account for. Think back to the early necessities of human survival, something we can call Motivation 1.0. Early humans were motivated by instinct, survival, food, safety. As our societies evolved, so did our motivations, shifting towards external validation. Yes, that's Motivation 2.0. But here's the catch. As the world grows more complex, so must our understanding and approaches to motivation. With the rise of the digital age and the knowledge economy, the limitations of Motivation 2.0 become glaringly clear. Take organizations, for instance. Many leaders still cling to outdated motivational strategies, relying heavily on financial incentives or performance metrics. But consider this. In environments where individuals crave more autonomy and fulfillment, these external rewards become unreliable. They produce temporary boosts in engagement at best, and in many cases, they can even lead to decreased motivation and creativity. It's like trying to fill a bucket with holes. No matter how much you pour in, it never holds water. So what's the solution? We need an upgrade, an evolution in our understanding of motivation that caters to our intrinsic desires. Reflect for a moment on your own life. Think about the activities that engage you most. Are they driven by external rewards, or do they stem from a deeper intrinsic passion? Perhaps writing, creating art, or collaborating with others brings you joy. Those might very well be the areas where you find the greatest motivation. For leaders and organizations, it's crucial to reconsider how teams are managed and projects are executed. Instead of narrowly focusing on targets, fostering a culture that prioritizes autonomy, creativity, and meaningful contributions can lead to remarkable outcomes. Why not involve team members in decision-making? Embrace collaboration and purpose-driven approaches that resonate with individuals' intrinsic motivations. To wrap this up, remember that the world is changing. Our approach to motivation must reflect that evolution. Take these insights and start experimenting. In your work, in your life. Ask yourself, how can you create an environment that nurtures intrinsic motivation, not just for yourself, but for those around you? Exciting possibilities await when we start shifting our focus from external rewards to what truly drives us at our core. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 2. 7 Reasons Carrots and Sticks often don't work. Imagine you're really excited about a project, like excited enough that you lose track of time. You're in that creative flow, buzzing with ideas, and everything feels vibrant and alive. But then you hear about a reward for completing it, or worse, a penalty if you don't finish on time. Suddenly, the joy dwindles. What was once an exciting opportunity now feels more like an obligation. This scenario perfectly captures the essence of what's referred to as the Sawyer effect, named after the clever young boy from Mark Twain's classic tale. You see, when we introduce external rewards, those proverbial carrots and sticks, into intrinsically rewarding tasks, we often extinguish the very motivation we seek to ignite. Let's break this down a bit more. Traditional reward systems may seem logical. After all, who doesn't want a little incentive for their hard work? But research has shown that these extrinsic motivators can backfire, leading to two major pitfalls. They can reduce creativity and promote ethical dilemmas. For instance, when people are given rewards for tasks they once enjoyed, they often resent the very activity that brought them fulfillment. The joy of creative expression becomes overshadowed by the pressure of meeting expectations, and that original spark is dimmed. Take a moment to think about how you've approached tasks in your own life. Have you ever found that the more you were chased by a deadline, the less you enjoyed the process? This is not just a personal observation. Studies have evidenced that performance can suffer under incentive systems, especially when complex problem-solving or creativity is required. It turns out that external rewards can narrow our focus, leading us to fixate on the outcome rather than the rich experience of the journey itself. And isn't it true that the best work often comes when we're engaged, curious, and free to explore? Let's talk about the ethical implications for a moment. Relying heavily on extrinsic motivators can breed short-term thinking, tempting people to chase after immediate gains instead of investing in long-lasting, meaningful objectives. This is a slippery slope, as individuals might prioritize quick rewards over what truly matters in the long run, ultimately compromising values and deeper relationships. So, what can we do instead? First, it's important to assess your current motivation strategies. Are you still leaning heavily on rewards and punishments? If so, it might be time to shift gears. Consider embracing a culture of positive feedback. Simple recognition of effort can elevate motivation without the side effects of extrinsic incentives. Next, focus on long-term goals. Align tasks with personal and organizational values to enrich engagement and foster a genuine passion for the work. When motivation stems from internal desires and shared beliefs, the emphasis on immediate rewards begins to fade, leading to a much more sustained and fulfilling drive. Take a moment to reflect on where you can apply these insights in your life or workplace. What are some ways you could shift from a reward-based approach to something that nurtures deeper motivation? After all, recognizing the incredible potential of intrinsic motivation not only empowers you, but can also create a ripple effect, inspiring those around you to find joy in the work itself. Chapter 2. And the special circumstances when they do. Let's dive into a fascinating discussion about motivation and rewards, particularly how extrinsic rewards can play a role in certain situations. You might already be aware that while traditionally we've seen extrinsic motivators like bonuses or incentives as potentially harmful, especially when it comes to fostering creativity or deep engagement, there are times when they can actually work in our favor. Imagine a monotonous task, like sorting through stacks of paperwork. Now, if we peel back the layers, it becomes clear that many of these routine activities exist in a different motivational sphere. There tends to be little, if any, intrinsic motivation tied to such tasks. In fact, when you're standing in a paper jungle, the only push most people need is a little nudge in the form of a tangible reward. What's particularly intriguing is that these rewards don't necessarily undermine motivation. In fact, as the book articulates, rewards do not undermine people's intrinsic motivation for dull tasks because there is little or no intrinsic motivation to be undermined. If the task at hand is simply devoid of that inner spark, then an external reward, can be just the ticket to get the job done. A simple point to consider here: certain tasks call for a clear understanding of their nature. If it's just repetitive work, maybe it's perfectly fine to throw in a small reward to make the experience a bit more bearable. However, here's where the conversation gets nuanced. For managers or leaders, it's vital to approach the use of these extrinsic rewards thoughtfully. It's not just about tossing some cash at a job. It's about the greater context surrounding those rewards. Emphasizing autonomy is a key strategy. Even within routine tasks, when individuals feel they have a choice in how they approach the work, it can significantly elevate their engagement. Also, providing a clear rationale for why a task is important helps connect the dots between the work and its impact, further enhancing motivation. Remember the critical aspect of timing and structure with extrinsic rewards. The book also reminds us that any extrinsic reward should be unexpected and offered only after the task is complete. Think of this like giving a pat on the back after someone finishes a challenging activity, instead of dangling the reward like a carrot ahead of them. That way, it serves as a pleasant surprise rather than a pressure to perform. The unexpected nature of the reward keeps the focus on the task and allows the intrinsic rewards to flourish, particularly when people see their contributions acknowledged in genuine ways. Let's put this theory into practice with some actionable insights. First, take a moment to clearly identify which tasks within your repertoire can benefit from extrinsic motivators. Perhaps some of those day-to-day routines that don't require much creative thought could use a little boost. Next, remember that communication is key. Share the purpose and importance of these tasks with your team, helping them to see beyond just the reward. Lastly, don't forget to celebrate the small wins with unexpected recognition or rewards. Whether it's a little note of appreciation or surprise recognition at the end of a project, reinforce those positive behaviors while keeping intrinsic motivation at the forefront. By approaching extrinsic rewards with this mindful perspective, we can create a balanced motivational mix that respects the nuances of human behavior, ensuring that both productivity and engagement thrive. Chapter 3: Type 1 and Type X. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to light up when they talk about their work, while others seem to be just going through the motions? This spark, or lack thereof, often boils down to the type of motivation driving them. Let's delve into the two primary motivators that guide our actions: Type 1 and Type X. Understanding these can give us valuable insights into not just our own lives, but also how we can create engaging environments for others. Type I motivation is all about intrinsic joy. Think of it as that deep, satisfying feeling you get when you master a new skill, create something meaningful, or contribute to a cause you believe in. It's driven by a desire for mastery, autonomy, and purpose. Imagine a musician who practices for hours, not for fame, but simply for the sheer joy of improving and expressing themselves. This motivation leads to rich, meaningful work experiences, where fulfillment isn't just a goal, but a byproduct of the journey. People driven by Type 1 motivations often find themselves naturally productive and creative, and they experience a sense of belonging that adds to their overall happiness. But here's the twist. This isn't merely a personal gain. Organizations that foster this type of motivation see increased innovation and productivity. Now, on the flip side, we have Type X motivation, which is tied to external rewards. This looks like striving for bonuses, promotions, or even accolades, essentially those shiny rewards that seem so attractive at first glance. While Type X can be effective for achieving short-term goals, like when you're sprinting towards a deadline, it often comes with a catch. Overemphasizing these external validations can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. Picture an employee who's pushing themselves to meet targets purely for a bonus. Initially, the incentive acts like rocket fuel. But after repeated cycles, you might find that they're left feeling drained, unfulfilled, and disconnected from the very work they once loved. This contrast highlights the importance of what we call self-determination theory. The idea that when we allow individuals to satisfy their innate needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness, they are likely to perform better and feel more satisfied. So how do we create environments that prioritize Type 1 motivations? Start by engaging in some self-reflection. Assess your own motivations. Are you primarily driven by success and status, or are you looking for fulfillment and purpose? This introspection is the first step toward cultivating a more intrinsic approach, both in your personal pursuits and within team dynamics. Next, think about how you can shape your environment. If you're in a leadership position, consider practices that champion mastery and autonomy rather than just ticking off boxes for rewards. Maybe you could foster open conversations about what moves people. Instead of merely sharing goals tied to bonuses, ask your team what drives them. Discovering shared values can create a strong foundation for a thriving culture rooted in intrinsic motivations. In a world that often capitalizes on extrinsic rewards, fostering a dialogue about the importance of Type 1 motivation can transform not just individual experiences, but also the organization as a whole. As you move forward, challenge the conventional model of motivation by celebrating intrinsic values and encouraging autonomy and purpose-driven work. When you tap into that inner drive, you're not just unlocking potential. You're nurturing not only happier individuals, but also more resilient, innovative organizations. Chapter 4: Autonomy. Imagine waking up in the morning excited about your day ahead, knowing you have the freedom to choose how you want to tackle tasks, set your priorities, and express your creativity. That sense of ownership and control, often referred to as autonomy, isn't just a fluffy concept. It's a driving force behind our motivation and satisfaction at work. At its core, autonomy is a fundamental element that nurtures our intrinsic motivation. Think about it for a moment. When you have the chance to make decisions, to influence your path, and to choose how you engage with your work, everything changes. Increased engagement and satisfaction aren't just benefits. We're talking about a complete transformation in productivity. Consider those moments when you've been presented with a task that felt rigid and uninspiring. You went through the motions, right? Now, flip that scenario. Picture being given the chance to approach that very same task in your own way. Maybe you brainstormed a unique solution or decided to use a creative method you had in mind. That spark of inspiration can lead to an influx of ideas and a rush of satisfaction. This is the power of autonomy at play. Organizations that recognize the importance of autonomy also reap significant rewards. By allowing employees to have a say in their work processes, companies not only encourage innovation, but also cultivate deeper loyalty among their workforce. When people feel trusted with their decisions and tailored approaches, they naturally become more invested. They start to treat the organization's goals as their own, fueling a cycle of motivation and creativity. In essence, when we give people the freedom to make choices, they don't just rise to meet expectations, they often exceed them. Now, how can you integrate more autonomy into your own work environment? Start by assessing the level of autonomy you currently have. Are there areas where you can advocate for more independence? Perhaps it's about being able to choose project methods, setting flexible work hours, or taking the reins on decisions concerning your tasks. Don't hesitate to speak up. Share ideas with your team on how to foster an environment that embraces autonomy, encouraging a sense of ownership and investment. Next, consider how you can also provide space for autonomy among your peers. If you're in a leadership role, give team members the freedom to make decisions about their work. Trust them to own their projects. This simple act can lead to fantastic outcomes as people feel more connected to their work and, consequently, more motivated to excel. Lastly, take a moment for personal reflection. How can you create an autonomous work atmosphere for yourself? Perhaps it's as simple as setting your own goals or allowing yourself to explore different methods to achieve your tasks. Remember, Autonomy doesn't just lead to enhanced performance. It opens up a pathway to grow your creativity and passion for what you do. By shifting our focus toward autonomy, we transform our workplaces into environments that elevate engagement, innovation, and satisfaction across the board. The benefits are clear. The question is, how will you foster your own autonomy and help inspire it in the teams around you? Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 5, Mastery. It's fascinating to consider how the drive for mastery shapes our lives, isn't it? Mastery isn't just about becoming the best at something. It's about that intrinsic motivation to improve, to really delve into a skill or a craft and push ourselves towards excellence. Imagine a musician practicing daily, the subtle notes of their instrument becoming part of their very identity. This passion helps them not just in personal satisfaction, but also in connecting with their audience on a deeper level. Now, pursuing mastery requires more than just desire. It demands a path, one that is both well-defined and filled with immediate challenges. Think about any skilled professional, be it an athlete, an artist, or an executive. They didn't just wake up one day and become brilliant at what they do. Instead, they faced obstacles, tackled them head-on, and developed their skills through dedicated practice. For many, the love of the game lies in the challenge. That exhilarating moment when you realize you're a little better than you were yesterday. Organizations, take note. This drive for mastery can flourish when there's a supportive environment that values growth and continuous learning. Picture a workplace where employees are encouraged to embrace challenges and explore their potential. It's a game changer. Not only does it lead to personal satisfaction, but it also significantly boosts overall performance. Employees feel valued when they engage in structured development programs, indicating to them that their growth is a priority. This sense of investment in mastering their craft can turn a mundane job into a fulfilling career. So, where does this leave you? First, identify those areas in your life where you yearn for mastery. Perhaps it's in your career, a sport, or even a personal hobby. Set specific, achievable goals that outline your journey toward improvement. These should be outlined clearly, sort of like a map leading you to your destination. Then, constantly seek out opportunities for continuous learning. Whether it's enrolling in a course, finding a mentor, or stepping outside your comfort zone to tackle new challenges, these experiences can propel you forward. And if you're in a position to influence your workplace culture, think about advocating for or even initiating professional development programs. Creating environments that cultivate mastery can empower not just individuals, but the entire organization, swelling everyone's performance and satisfaction. Recognizing the importance of mastery is a powerful step toward personal and professional growth. Embrace it, and you might just find that the journey is just as rewarding, if not more so, than the achievement itself. Chapter 6, Purpose. Imagine starting your day not with a checklist of tasks, but with a deep-seated sense of why you're doing what you do. This isn't just about checking items off. It's about knowing you're contributing to something bigger than yourself. Developing a sense of purpose is really essential for fueling intrinsic motivation, a key ingredient for lasting fulfillment in any aspect of life. When you connect your day-to-day activities with a deeper meaning, it's like igniting a hidden reservoir of energy that propels you forward, even through challenges. Now, let's think about how this purpose can ripple out beyond just individual motivation. When teams and organizations tap into a shared sense of purpose, something magical happens. There's a boost in collaboration and cohesion. Have you ever noticed how teams that rally around a common mission feel more connected? It's like they're all rowing in the same direction, and that collective effort can transform a group of individuals into a powerhouse of creativity and resilience. They support each other, share successes, and ultimately build an environment that feels worthwhile. But how do we find this elusive purpose? It begins with a little reflection. Take some time to explore your personal values and beliefs. What truly resonates with you? Maybe it's innovation, community service, education, or sustainability. Identifying these core principles is like building a compass that can guide your actions and decisions. Once you have clarity on what matters to you, you're more likely to align your daily tasks with that authentic sense of purpose. And don't forget the organizational side of things. If you're part of a team, consider how your work relates to the larger mission of your organization. Are there ways to articulate this connection? Engaging in conversations about shared goals not only deepens your understanding, but also enhances the motivation of everyone involved. When people see how their contributions fit into a grander narrative, it fosters a sense of belonging and engagement that boosts resilience. Creating a culture of purpose takes effort, but can be incredibly rewarding. Facilitate discussions about mission and values. Maybe you can set aside time in team meetings to ask, what inspires us as a team? How are we making an impact? This kind of dialogue can inspire collective motivation, and suddenly, that feeling of going to work shifts from mere obligation to an invigorating pursuit. In summary, when you nurture a strong connection with purpose, you not only find personal fulfillment, but also uplift those around you. Life becomes less about tasks and more about sharing a meaningful journey together, leading to heightened engagement and satisfaction. As you explore your own purpose and that of your organization, remember, having that guiding light can make all the difference in how motivated and engaged you feel.